Good morning, it's Tuesday, and unlike yesterday where some frizzy-haired British me lookalike clone took over the reins, I'm back. And today we're talking about Sudoswap, the first NFT AMM. It's a doozy, this one. So many interesting things to look into, and we'll get into it after these messages. There are a few platforms that put security first while helping you make the most out of your crypto. On Nexo, you can buy crypto with a card in seconds and automatically start earning interest paid out daily. If you want to restructure your portfolio when the time comes, jump on Nexo's instant exchange and get rewards on every swap. Borrowing against your crypto without selling is easy with rates starting at 0%. Nexo is the place for your crypto where you can securely buy, earn, exchange, borrow, and store your assets through the market cycles. Visit nexo.io and play the long game right. Bitrefill allows you to shop online and physically without banks, converting your crypto into merchant balance directly without any sign-up. It offers more than 5,000 gift card options in 180 countries, and in the USA, you can now pay bills like your mortgage or credit card. Creating a Bitrefill account is not required, but it only takes 1 minute, and you can get 1% back in rewards. Web3 is not a thrift shop, so stop using vintage tools. Block Wallet is the first self-custodial wallet for a modern DeFi user. It packs all the features you'd expect while keeping you safe and productive. Block Wallet stops you from leaking your IP address on Web3 like a VPN for blockchain. And with Flashbots protection, you literally save money on each trade. Protect yourself from phishing attacks, monitor gas prices, connect to any dApp, and simply enjoy the experience. Block Wallet is available on Chrome or Brave browsers today. So Sudoswap, it was a peer-to-peer NFT sales platform. You could set up a sale of one NFT, somebody else would then set up a buy of that NFT, and then you could trustlessly interact with each other, sell your NFTs one to one. And then you could set up bundles of NFTs as well, but there was always this little kind of, people were a little bit sketched out about it. Nonetheless, Sudoswap was still the very first of its kind and a very interesting protocol for allowing people to swap peer-to-peer. Now, they've come out with something even better. So the first headline we have here is that Uniswap is integrating Sudoswap to access deeper NFT liquidities. So there's on-chain liquidity offered by sudoAMM, and Uniswap said, yeah, we'll have a piece of that. Thanks very much. Yo. So yes, Scott E says we'll be launching NFTs on Uniswap with full Sudoswap support. And yeah, here we go. Scott, if you didn't know, was previously the founder of Genie, that was also acquired, as I recall, by Uniswap. Yeah, so all of that functionality is being built into Uniswap now. What that's going to look like, I don't know. But the reason it's interesting is because Uniswap is an AMM. We're familiar with AMMs now, automated market makers, a way of bundling tokens into pools and allowing people to access the liquidity in those pools with oracles that find the price externally, and then it all kind of just works into this trading experience that allows you to trade very quickly and very seamlessly, decentralized. Very cool stuff. So that headline we saw before was from Jason Levin. Jason Levin is a reporter at the Defiant, and this is a good moment for us to talk about the newly designed Defiant website. And there she is. What a beauty. It should be much easier to find the information you want. Should be able to, much nicer to navigate the website just in general. And of course, if you want more information about DeFi, there's a newsletter. You can click on the link at the top and get access to that newsletter that drops in every day via the team at the Defiant. Well, if you didn't know, Cami, who set up the Defiant, that was how it started. It was a newsletter when there weren't any newsletters about DeFi. And look how far we've come. So anyway, getting back to Sudoswap, here's the skinny. So what it allows you to do, Sudoswap, is trade any ERC20 720 1155 for any other ERC20 720 1155. And as I said, it's peer-to-peer. So what you would do is generate a link for that particular unique sale. Presumably you agreed the terms with someone in advance, you generate the link, and then that's it. And it was gas optimized, so you'd only pay for approval and swap, and then those assets would never leave your wallet until the swap had happened. So it's a sort of escrow service really for NFTs. Then we get to the sudoAMM, a new marketplace protocol that changes the way we think about NFT liquidity and trading. Highly flexible, gas efficient, and fully on-chain. So this is kind of an interesting one because we've got platforms like NFTX that allow pools of NFTs to be set up in which you can then trade against the floor and simply drop your NFT into a pool, and you would receive back tokens that represent a claim on the NFTs within that pool. It's a slightly kind of roundabout way of doing it, using tokens as an intermediary. You could then trade those tokens on an AMM and get the best price for those in the pool, or you could then acquire enough to make up one whole token that could then be redeemed against an NFT in the pool. That is not what is going on here. This is an entirely different thing, but similar. So automated market makers allow digital assets to be traded automatically using liquidity pools rather than a traditional marketplace that needs to match buyers with sellers. So you know the way on OpenSea, if you want someone to buy your NFT, well, you've got to find someone who actually wants to buy your NFT. If you're trading shitcoins, for instance, there's a bunch of people who are putting in orders in the order book, and you can fulfill that order by matching their buy order. It's similar kind of thing, basically, but because shitcoins are fungible, doesn't matter which shitcoin you have. NFTs are very much more specific than that. So finding the specific buyer who wants your specific NFT can be quite painful. With POP projects, of course, we have flaws, and a lot of the flaws are kind of interchangeable in most people's minds, so it doesn't really matter. But that kind of gets us to where we're at with this, which is, what is the sudoAMM actually doing here? Well, it's simply creating a pool of assets that you can trade into or trade out of by buying and selling. And you can also set up those pools with some very specific rules that you govern as well, so that you can actually make money off the trades that are happening within those pools. So we're just going to jump out now and have a look at buying and selling on Sudoswap. So here is Sudoswap. It's a lot better UX than it ever used to be, and definitely the UI has improved. It used to be a pretty sketchy looking thing, but here we are. It looks much, much better. So we've got some kind of fairly normal collections here. I'm just going to use CloneX as an example. Crypto dick butts. Even when you say it, it sounds ridiculous. What a great advertisement for the NFT space that is. Anyway, let's go and look at CloneX. So what we have here is the floor price, 8.1, the best offer on the table here, the offer TVL. We'll jump into that in a bit, and then the volume. And there are 37 clones here that are in the pool that we could buy right now, today. And here's the price for those clones. So if I clicked on this one and I wanted to buy it, I could click on the Sudoswap button down here, and then MetaMask would pop up. I would be asked to spend the princely sum of 8.1 ETH, $14,000 in today's money. Seems ridiculous, doesn't it? Honestly, going to reject that. But that's really very simply how you would do that. I could also sell into the pool. So I've got some clones here sitting ready to go. So if I wanted to sell into that pool, I wouldn't have to wait for an offer to come in. I wouldn't have to wait for someone to match my price. I could sell into that pool. And what's particularly interesting here is it's the price. So the floor price of clones is 8.1. And if we go on Uniswap and look at the floor price, yep, 8.1. Go back to Sudoswap. But if we look at the best offer for the clones on Sudoswap is 7.834. But on OpenSea, the best offer is in fact 7.4. Now, it's not quite as straightforward as, oh yeah, well, it's obviously a better offer, because there are some other things going on here. But what you need to bear in mind is, here's the clever bit. If I click on this clone, I scroll down to details, and you should always look in this detail tab here. Look at the creator earnings, 5%. So that's the 5% royalty that is paid to the creator on OpenSea. And you have to remember that you also have to pay the 2.5% fee to OpenSea itself. So every buy and sell you make for a clone in that collection, you're going to be taxed to the princely sum of 7.5% on every sale. That is not the case on Sudoswap. All of that, forget about it. There is no fee here. There's a fee to the pool owner, which you can check when you sell or buy, but that's it. So we can have a look at the pools here and see some details about them. We'll dig into that a bit later, but fundamentally that's what's going on here. But for the deal, If you're selling, you're going to get a better deal because not only are you getting a better price than the best offer on OpenSea, but you're also not having to pay that 5% royalty fee and the 2.5% fee to OpenSea as well. So you might get a better price. And I haven't been through all the other pools or all the other assets to check if that's the case, but that's quite a significant benefit to selling on Sudoswap here. So there's some other features we've got here. We can make a collection offer. So you could say, I want to buy, let's say I want to buy 10 clones and I want to pay a price of, well, I'm not going to pay the top price, I'm 8.1, but maybe I'll spend like 7.9. And every time I sell one, I want the price to decrease by 0.01 ETH. I mean, I could leave that to 0, but obviously I'm impacting the market here, so I want the price to decrease. So I could then create that offer, and what will happen here is my tokens will get escrowed into a pool contract that I own. It's my contract. I can withdraw it at any time. No one else can touch that contract. And if anyone else wants to interact with that contract, then they're interacting with the specific terms that I've set up. So I could create that offer. Hang on. Let's set it to just 2, because that's probably what I can actually afford. I can create that offer. And then I would have to sign the transaction here, and that would all be set up nice and spicy. I'm going to actually reject that for now. But that's how you would do a bulk collection offer on Sudoswap. Now, you might be noticing something here, which is in order to make that collection offer, I had to have enough to cover the entire number of tokens I wanted to buy. If you're making a collection offer on, for instance, LooksRare or OpenSea, you only need to have enough for one. And what's interesting about OpenSea is if you have WETH in your wallet and you want to say make a 7.5 WETH offer on a clone, you can make that same offer on any clone you want. You can put it on the entire collection, and once that has been accepted, then your balance is rendered to 0 and the offer goes away. But you can put it on any clone you want. So you can put that offer in as many times as you want. It's only once it's accepted that it's registered as being complete. So what else do we have here? We have a sweep mode. So I could say, okay, I want to sweep like this. So this is different from a collection offer, because the collection offer is actually setting up a specific set of logic determined by you, which requires a smart contract, whereas the sweep mode means I can just sweep and get a whole bunch of these clones all in one go. 114 ETH, Bob's your uncle, done. And you don't need WETH to do it. So that's some of the funky features here. And as you can tell, it's just a different way of buying and selling NFTs. And you might find yourself a tasty little bargain if you're lucky. So let's jump back in to the presentation and have a look at the AMM. So the AMM might look a little confusing to you if you've not worked with AMMs on Uniswap, for instance, or set up a liquidity pool, but it's working using the same kind of fundamental ideas. So what we have here is pool pricing, a start price, whether you want a bonding curve or an exponential curve, whether you want that bonding curve to be linear or exponential, and then a delta, which is how much the price is going to move every time a sale or a buy happens. So you want this thing to be alive and active, and for the market to be dynamic. And so that's what you do with the bonding curve. And generally what happens with markets is they tend to self-organize. So if something looks like a bargain, someone will buy it up and that will bring the price up. And if something looks like it's too expensive, then nobody will buy it, and the price will have to come back down to meet where the market is at. It's always a miraculous thing where markets tend to just kind of equalize out and find their feet, but that is what happens. So the bump says sudoAMM allows users to create pools that gradually buy or sell NFTs along price curves, provide liquidity to NFT pools to earn fees, and directly list their NFTs at fixed prices. So it gives you a whole bunch of different functionality in the pool. So you could set up a pool for, let's say you had 20 clones, and you know that you want to entice buyers in, but you don't want to sell them all at a certain price. So you could say, this is my collection. You're welcome to jump in and buy these, but they're not all going to sit at the floor price. I'm going to slowly increase the price over time as the demand comes in to buy them. And then it's on you, the seller, to market that collection or market your pool in order to attract the buyers to come in and buy it. Sound good? let's go and check in on how you actually do this. So what we want to do here is go to your pools. So we click on your pools and then we can create a new pool. Now you've got a few different options here. I want to buy NFTs with tokens. So you can set up an ETH pool, and that ETH pool is going to allow you to acquire clones, let's say clones in this instance. So someone will say, okay, you've got a whole bunch of ETH. I want to sell you my clone. That ETH sitting there, you've committed it to a smart contract, which means it's available for anyone to sell specifically clones to you at a price determined by you. And if the seller is happy with that, then they'll sell it to you and off you go. Similarly, you can go the other way. You've got NFTs in your collection you want to sell, and then you set the specific conditions for that, and anyone with ETH to match those conditions can deposit their ETH and they will be returned a clone for that privilege. Or you can do both, and then if you do both, then you will earn trading fees. So that means you're supplying to both sides of the market. So if you've ever supplied liquidity on an AMM, quite often you'll be asked to supply equal amounts of two tokens of a pair. So equal amounts of ETH, equal amounts of USDC, at least in dollar terms anyway. That's what you want to do on this side. So you're going to deposit some NFTs, you're going to deposit some ETH, and effectively you're working as a market maker. You're saying, if anybody wants to deposit clones, I've got the ETH to pay for them, but I've also got some clones. So if you want to give me some ETH, I'm happy to take that trade as well. I'm working both sides, and you will earn fees for doing so. Let's jump in. So here we go. I want to deposit ETH, and that's probably enough. CloneX to earn trading fees. So here's my pair, ETH versus CloneX. And the next step is we need to configure the pool. So how much do we want to earn in fees? The percentage of each trade you take is a fee. So bear in mind that you want to be attractive to buyers and sellers, because otherwise what's the point? So setting it up as 2.5%, which is the OpenSea fee, I don't think that's going to cut it. So let's not be greedy. Let's set up as 1%. And if we remember, we looked at let's have a look at the CloneX floor price. So the floor price for clones is 8.1. The best offer is 7.834. So for my pool, I'm going to set a starting price of 7.9. Now we have two curves we can select. One is a linear curve. So here it says the price increases and decreases by the same amount each time, uses fixed amount changes. So the price, every time someone buys one, the price will go up by however much we decide. On an exponential curve, it'll go up slowly and then go up faster and faster and faster as demand comes in. But also bear in mind, it can decrease faster and faster and faster as people start to sell them off. So the delta is how much we're going to increase the price by each time we step up. And that can be, it depends what you want to do. If you want to really max out your fees here, then maybe you set a high one, but I don't think we necessarily do. So I think 0.01, maybe 0.1 is enough. And then it gives us the details here. So we've selected a starting price of 7.9 ETH. Each time your pool sells an NFT, your buy price will adjust down or up by 0.1 ETH. Let's see, where else do you want to go? So the deposit amounts, we want to buy up to, let's say 2 clones and sell up to 2 clones. We could say 3 because I have 3 currently sitting there. So that gives us the final details. You will deposit 15.192 ETH and 3 clone X. So buying 1 NFT will cost you 7.645 ETH. Selling, let's say 3 NFTs will earn you 24 ETH. Buying 2 NFTs will cost you 15.192. So I would come out of this with a nice profit of around about 9 ETH, which is better than it would be for just selling the things in the first place. So that's how that pool should, in theory, make you some money. And if you want to then go ahead, I'm just going to clear that out. If you want to then go ahead and set that up, it's going to set up a whole pool with a smart contract governed by it. And then we go down to the next step. And it gives us the final details of this. which is you're depositing 15.192 ETH to buy up to 2 CloneX. You're depositing 3 CloneX to sell up to 24 ETH. Your pool will have a starting price of 7.9 ETH. Each time your pool buys an NFT, your price will adjust down by 0.1 ETH. And each time your pool sells an NFT, your price will adjust up by 0.1 ETH. Now, as you can see, I'm working with pretty small numbers here, but let's say you had a big chunk of clones or NFTs that you wanted to get rid of, or you wanted to set up a pool for, and a big chunk of ETH to go with it, then this could work out pretty nicely for you. And the good thing is once it's set up, you don't really have to think about it. It just governs itself. It's just very important to make sure that you set it up correctly to begin with, because once you've set it up, you can't go back. That is it. It's locked in. So we would click on approve. We can select the NFTs. I've only got 3 in there, so that would be the NFTs that are going to be selected. Select those 3. Okay. And then approve. And then we'd have to sign that. Give permission to access all of our CloneX, and then we'd have to also sign the smart contract as well. I'm just going to go ahead and confirm that. So the very last step then is to create the pool. So if I click on create the pool, we can see how expensive it is to actually create that pool itself. Interestingly, not very expensive at all. So estimated gas fee on that is $8.60. So automatically when I think of setting up a pool or a contract, I imagine it will be expensive, but this really isn't. I'm not going to go ahead and do that because I actually want to hold on to my clones. I kind of like them. But that is basically it for Sudoswap. I hope that kind of gave you at least a sense of how powerful these AMM pools actually are. Takes a bit of wrapping your head around, but if you have a big chunk of these NFTs lying around, you want to do something with them, or even if you want to just find a better bargain or sell for a better price and sneakily get around those royalty fees, this could be a way to do that. That's it for today. If you have any suggestions for us to cover in tutorials, please do drop them in the comments below. And as always, like, comment, subscribe, check out the newsletter, check out the new website, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace!